Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Your turn. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Very nice.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
You can clap your hands if you like.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Fantastic, you guys are naturals. So good. Today's talk is how to be free from anxiety. So here, who here suffers from anxiety? Put your hand up. Okay, a few honest guys. Not so much. So let's look into the problem, maybe. Usually we have anxieties for the future, right? What's going to happen next? Especially when you're all in university. We have a 3 to 4 year, even 5-year course. And there is an anxiety. You know, you got into this field, and then when you come out with your degree, will you have a job? Will there be vacancies in the industry? I remember when I graduated, I did a Bachelor of Arts in Interactive Media and Animation. So it's pretty much a degree in cartoons. And so when I went in, there was a lot of, you know, it was a 4-year course. There was so much availability in that market, in the design field. But then at the graduation, they had it in this big football stadium, and it was like very illustrious. My parents were so proud. I had the hat and everything. And it was supposed to be a very happy moment. But then the head of the university, he just dropped a bomb on us. You know, he says, yes, all of you, when you came to study in this certain field, you had so many opportunities in your industry. Now you've finished your degree, you may find very few opportunities now. I was like, what? What a skit. He just, you know, slapped us in the face right there, you know, at the graduation. But because of the aura of the excitement, oh, you finish and your parents are there and you're taking pictures, it didn't really sink in. But yes, that could be an anxiety, you know. Even with your assignments and exams now, there is stress there about, you know, am I going to sit down and do it, or am I going to procrastinate and do it last minute? And then you feel that anxiety, you know, when you're like cramming it in before the exam, or, you know, you just do that assignment at 3 in the morning. So things like this, you know, we can see it's going on. But what is university really for? You know, there is this study, there is like, okay, let's start a career. But, you know, there's a bit of the social life as well, you know, getting in relationships. Will it work out? Will it work out? Does he like me? Does she like me? You know, do I have to go to the latest party? What am I going to do on the weekend? What are you doing on the weekend? You ask each other. Like this. Is it true? We're always trying to plan the weekend. Yeah. And especially New Year's, that's like a big one, right? What are you doing for New Year's? Have you felt that anxiety before? So why so much anxiety? What is it all for? Why do we do anything in this world? You know, why do we have to study, you know, 12 years, you know, primary and secondary school, and then 4 or 5 years in university? If you do a PhD or a master's, it's like an extra 5 to 7 years. Why? And then even after that, you know, you have to search for the job. That's also hard work. And then you get that job, and then your boss wants the most out of his money. He's paying you a wage. He or she's paying you a wage, and I've got to get the most out of my human resource. That sounds weird, doesn't it? It's expectation, isn't it? We're going to get the most out of it. You know, do overtime without pay, otherwise you lose your job. And then, why are you doing this? You know, you may have a family at that time, raising some kids, hope they turn out exactly how you planned. Did you turn out exactly how your parents planned? But you're there in anxiety about it. They have dreams, you know, you're born, you're like a few months old. Okay, my son, my daughter will be a doctor, will be so successful in so many ways that I dream of. And then even divorce is on the rise. Will my relationship last? This is also an anxiety. And then this body goes through so much things. You're trying to keep it fit and healthy. You know, there's always like new diseases coming up, pandemics. So many different risks are involved that we just take as the norm. And what to speak of a main anxiety is death. Sorry to be pessimistic. I know I look very happy and positive. But spiritual life means to face reality, not to put our so-called, you know, head in the sand from the reality. And then what is death all about? You know, it takes it all away. Everything you built that you were so anxious to achieve. So why are we doing all these things? Why do we travel? Why relations? Why study? Why make money? To be happy. We never do anything for the stress. Never. But the stress comes automatically, right? No one tries for it, but it comes. So something like, I'm sure you're spiritual seekers. You know, there's only a rare few that think like this. That's why there's only a few of you here. There must be something more. So the first step in spiritual life is to understand, who am I? Can you be happy if you don't know who you are? No, not at all. So most people, if you meet someone, and they say, oh, who are you? You usually give your name, right? But is that who you are? Like you have nicknames. You know, my mom still calls me baby. I'm like, old. You know. So we have so many nicknames, but it doesn't change who you are. You know, you can legally change your name also, but that doesn't change who you are. You may identify with your race. I'm black, white, Indian, colored, but that's not who you are. I mean, Michael Jackson changed color, but he's still the same person. You may identify with your job. I'm a student, or like I'm in this type of course, like this. You may identify with nationality. I'm South African, you know, but you go to another country, get citizenship. Many South Africans live in Australia, where I'm from, and they get Australian citizenship. And at that ceremony, you say, yes, I give my life to this country, you know, kind of thing. And I renounce the other country. But it doesn't change who you are. You're still the same person. You can even change your gender, and you'll still be the same person. So you'll see that anything to do with this body that we call the self is always subject to change. You know, there's a spiritual book, it's probably out there, it's called the Bhagavad Gita. It's 5,000 years old. And there's a verse saying that the embodied soul goes through changes from babyhood to childhood, youth to old age. And at death, it goes into another body. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So even this body that we take care of and look after and fully identify with, it's always changing. You had a baby body before, but where is it now? You know, show a picture, this is me when I'm a baby, it's gone. All the scientists say that every cell in the body is replaced every 7 years. So say if you're like 21, you're in your third body. The body's in constant flux. It's always changing. You look into the mirror, you're like, hey gorgeous, hey handsome, looking good. It's a new person. It's not the same one. So who is the witness for all these changes? So that is the spirit soul. That's who we really are. So the nature of these two things is that the body is material, and that the soul, who we are, is spiritual. So what is the difference between those two substances, you could say? The physical and the metaphysical. So the material body is temporary. You know, it doesn't last forever. You know, it's like a machine, you know. You got some car, it's like clothes, you know. You have old clothes, you take them off, put on the new clothes, like that. But the soul lives forever. You know, there's songs about it, you know. I want to live forever, yeah. Like, you know, everyone's singing songs like this, and but you know, they all die. No, but this is natural for us, you know. Why are we always fighting for survival, struggling for existence? Because once we think that we can maintain this body forever. You're seeing that, like, old people, they'll just go on and go on. Even though they're like a vegetable, they can't do much. They can't even feed themselves. They can't go to the toilet, but they'll live on. You know, so what's keeping it going? That's the soul. It's eternal. It lives forever. Yes. So if the body is temporary and we think we're the body, then there's going to be anxiety. You know, when's it's going to end? You know, every step there's danger. You step onto the road, you know, there's cars are zooming past. You know, crime it's going on here. Carjacking, whatever else. There's nice things are going on. So that's there. We take it as norm, but it's not the state of the soul, which is eternal. It never dies. You can't drown it. It can't be withered by the wind. No weapon can destroy it. It can't be burnt by fire. It keeps living on. Because you'll see, there's all types of living entities that the soul can take up. Different bodies. So it's not just a human body. There's souls in the animal bodies, in the plant body, in the fish body. So you may wonder, will I, what type of body I'll get next? So it is said in the spiritual scriptures that there's 8.4 million different types of species of life. And the type of body you get is according to your activities in this life, the desires you have, and your state of mind at the point of death. So these are the three factors. So say, for example, you like to sleep a lot. So maybe the human form is not for you. Maybe you can have a body of like a grizzly bear. Sleeps 3 months during the winter, like that. Or if you like to smoke a lot of weed, and you could probably get a body of a better body is a body of a koala bear. Because these koala bears, they sleep 13 hours a day. And they pretty much just stoned on chewing eucalyptus leaves. Say, for example, you like to eat a lot of meat. Maybe the human body is not for you. Become a tiger or a lion. You get the nice teeth and claws and the digestive system to just eat as much meat as possible. So, or you like to surf. I don't know if you like to surf, but I'm from Australia. Everyone's a surfer. And, they're always just watching waves and just spending hours in the water. So human form is not for you. Maybe a dolphin body is good for you. But the problem is, what is the human form of life for? It's like the highest form. Because all living entities have 4 things that they need to do. The 4 things are eating. Right? All living entities do it. They have to eat. All living entities have to sleep. All living entities have to have sex life, mating, reproduction. And all living entities have to defend themselves or fear. Right? So that's the animals and the humans. But what's the special thing about a human form of life? The human form of life has high intelligence to inquire, who am I? Why am I here? What happens to me after death? Why do I have to suffer? It can inquire about this. But the animals cannot. They just follow whatever their body dictates. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But the human form of life can inquire higher. So we need to utilize it about understanding who we are as a spirit soul. So we'll go back to the soul. There's 2 more qualities. So the soul is actually full of consciousness. It's alive. So I say if I hit this chair, it doesn't do anything, it's dead. It's full of ignorance. But if I punch someone, because they're fully conscious, they may punch me back. Don't punch. Do that. Because she'll punch you back. It's a conscious living being. And this is what we find beautiful in this world. Consciousness, right? If you live in like some city and it's all gray and concrete, there's no life. But if you're in a beautiful forest with flowers and trees and animals and the wind blowing, there's so much life there, so you feel enlivened. Say you have a dear, you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband or wife, and they're very dear to you. You will embrace them, you love them so much. But then once that spirit soul leaves the body, you don't want to deal with this body anymore. You want to put it 6 feet underground or burn it or whatever. It starts to smell a little bit. Because it's the consciousness that we're attracted to. That's the thing that makes things beautiful. But material nature, material life, it's actually a dead life. There's a nice saying that modern society, or this materialistic society, is just geared towards decoration of the dead body. You ever been to a funeral, right? They fully decorate the body like that. And maybe like someone's grandparents, or like father or mother, or some, brother or sister. And like a young kid will say, hey, grandfather, grandmother's there. They say, no, it's gone. They're gone. Well, what's gone? It's the soul that's left the body. So that means you never saw your grandfather, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister. You never saw them. You just saw the casing. But the soul is fully conscious. It's always alive and active. That's who we really are. So the third quality of the soul is my favorite. The soul is full of bliss and happiness. But the body is full of misery, unfortunately. So you may think, no, I can do so many nice things with my body, you know. I can do so many things. But say, for example, we give you a thumb, right? You wrap it up in silk. You say it's a very nice thumb. You stroke it very nicely. But if I get a hammer and I hit that thumb, bang, like this, how much pain compared to the pleasure I'll have? So much more in comparison. But the soul is actually full of happiness. Well, where do you get happiness from? Is it from sex? Is it from money? Is it from prestige? How many followers I got on Instagram? Wow, 10,000 followers. Yeah, I feel so happy. So many likes. You know, so much validation. But no, the real happiness comes from love, relationships. This is the thing that pushes us to go on more and more. So how do we show love? This is the idea. Because when we show love on the material bodily platform, we always get into frustration, right? How many times you've been broken-hearted in a relationship? Either one way or another way. Either you tried to satisfy someone so much and they don't appreciate you, you know, and they just break it off. Or the other side, where someone is trying to satisfy you, they try to satisfy you and you just don't do it for me, and you break it off. Because we have an ocean of love to give, but we always put it somewhere limited, so then we don't get the reciprocation that we're going for. So what is the nature of the soul? What do we have to do as a spirit soul? How do we act on that spiritual platform where we don't run into this frustration all the time? Suffering a broken heart in so many ways. So that is done by the essence of the soul. So the essence, say, of water is like, it's wet. You take the liquidity out of it, it's not water anymore. Like the essence of fire is that it's hot and it gives heat. You take the heat out of it, it's not fire anymore. So the essence of us, the spirit soul, is to serve. So you may think, is this religion or not? No. Because it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, or you're Muslim, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, you still have to serve. In a family, husband and wife serve each other. Parents serve the children, children serve the parents. If you're a capitalist, you serve if you're a politician, you want to be the president, you serve the people who vote for you, like that. Or you work for a boss, like that. Even someone who says, I don't care about society, I'll live on the street, I don't need to serve anyone. But still your belly will growl and you have to serve your belly. Everyone has to serve. Doesn't matter who you are. That's the essence of the soul. They call it in Sanskrit, Sanatan Dharma. So the eternal occupation of the soul. But how to serve in such a way? Because we're serving, but we always run into distress, anxiety, like that. So how to do it in a way where you become blissful and happy. So your value of life depends on how you serve. Say, for example, someone who's totally narcissistic, right? They just care about themselves, serving themselves, right? You would say they have a low level of life, right? Someone who gets a family, you start a family, your value goes up, right? All right, you serve like the whole community, goes higher. The whole nation, you know? You hear people, they fight in war. He sacrificed his life for his country. He gets like a medal. His legs blown off like that. Okay, let's serve whole humanity. That's a high level, right? You know, we're thinking about Nelson Mandela, how he served the whole country. He has a high value of life. Serve whole humanity. He inspired the whole world. Let's serve all living entities, even the animals as well. Why just this planet, the whole universe? But the highest or the perfection of our essence of service comes from serving the source of all living entities, the source of everyone and everything. That is the Supreme Soul, or God. That Supreme Person. When you serve Him, then you are serving someone who's unlimited. There's no limits. And then you get the reciprocation that overflows you. And then it starts to splash off onto people around you. So this is the love we're looking for. This is the place where there is no anxiety. Connecting in relationship to the Supreme Soul, which we're the same in quality actually. God is also eternal, full of knowledge, full of consciousness, and full of bliss. So that is the world we need to live in. If we identify with this material world, this material body with all these designations, then you have to face temporariness. You have to face ignorance or a dead life. You have to face misery at every step. So how do we connect back? So we do what we practice here called Bhakti Yoga. So you may have heard the word of yoga where you do deep breathing and stretches and like that. There's different types of yoga, but the most easiest and sublime or more natural one is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means love and devotion. So we connect to God in a mood of loving service. Usually we go to God like a business deal. Okay, I do this worship, I give this donation, let's hook me up. But He's already giving everything. What is the most precious thing in your life? Think about it. What is the most precious thing in your life? It's your next breath. If you don't have your next breath, you're thinking all about that, right? God is giving. Even if we forget Him, we don't care about Him. So the idea is that when we connect with loving devotion service, we're more like, oh, what can I do for you? You've given me a, how can I serve you? This is the perfection of my life. So the easiest way to do that, there's so many ways, but the easiest is just with your tongue and your ears. Just like what we did in the beginning, the chanting of the names of God. This is actually a prayer saying that I've been embarrassed by this material world, by this material body, running into broken hearts again and again. Show me how to love you again, how to serve you again. Engage me in your service. So pretty much that's the key to what's called Vaikuntha, or the spiritual world, where every day is a festival, every step's a dance, every word's a song, and every meal's a big feast. Compared to the material world where every day is a funeral, every step you can die, every word's a criticism, just jump online. And every meal, everything just doesn't meet your dreams, it always falls short. So this is available for all of us, and that's what we're offering here, this Bhakti Yoga Society here. And you can try it yourself. The books are there, how to apply it in your situation as a student, working, family person, whatever situation you're in. Because it's all about consciousness. Not to change the external, but to change the mentality within. That I'm not this body, I'm an eternal spirit soul, part of the Supreme Soul. And my duty in life, my purpose is to connect back in loving service. That's my talk. Thanks for paying attention. Grab something grab a plate before you go. Oh, you have class, okay, no worries. Does anyone have any questions about what we said? Anyone? Sorry, you can ask any random spiritual question as well, if you had one in particular. Yeah?
I heard you saying we have to spend like 12 years, I don't know, in pre-grade or high school or what. Why are we even timed? Like we have to spend 5 years or 4 years in high institution, don't have a job before 30, like the pressure. Why are we even timed?
Yeah. Um, Materialistic society is trying to gear us in such a way that we just fit into their system to exploit us. You can judge a civilization on how they treat 5 types of people, how they treat children, how they treat women, how they treat like saints, how they treat the elderly, and how they treat animals. Because all of these type of personalities, they need protection. But if they're all exploited, then you can see that it's not really a civilization, it's just barbaric. So it's done in a very polished way, that they lock you into a system where you forget about your true happiness, and they'll just use you for their own exploitation.
Is there a way to like balance?
Yeah, so you still need to live in this world, right? I'm not saying that you don't give up money or you don't give up looking after your body, but we can simplify it, and we can do it in a way where we're not affected by that materialistic consciousness that's been trying to program us. So that's when this chanting of meditation comes in. Our consciousness is like a mirror covered by dust. So this dust is like all these materialistic conceptions. And it all stems from identifying with the body. Because I am white or black, I have to act like this. Because I am South African, Australian, I have to act this way. I have to love this person and hate that other person. But if you love Krishna, or you love God, the Supreme Soul, then automatically you love everyone and everything that comes from Him. And you'll treat them properly. You wouldn't exploit them. So that's the key. So we need knowledge and a process of meditation and purification in this world. So we act in this world, but we're not a part of it. Does that make sense? But how to do it? We can start with this chanting. You can come to more spiritual meetings like this. And we also have many books to show you how to apply it. And then from your application, you'll experience a higher happiness where you're kind of like detached from it all. You can see it for what it is.
But sometimes like you don't want to fully detach from it because like some things like getting a degree is just the goal that you have in life. It's not necessarily to the materialistic side of it.
Yeah. So this is the beauty of bhakti yoga. So the thing is not bad, right? Like material things are not bad, like a car or whatever else, clothes, a degree. It's how you use it. Just like a knife. In the hands of a madman, it can just kill everyone and cause havoc. But in the hands of a surgeon, it can save lives. So go for your degree, but how are you going to use it? So you need higher consciousness. So this chanting that we do, like I do my personal chanting every day. So we don't just do it with music. We also do it with beats. So I keep these with me. So I chant one mantra on each beat. So those who are serious in this bhakti yoga like practice, not when you're starting. When you start, okay, some chanting to get you started. But when you're serious, people do 2 hours of it on beats. It's pretty far out. You would think like, no way, man, where am I going to get 2 hours? But it's powerful enough that you can see through the illusion. Yeah. I hope I answered both questions. So is that cool? You're cool? Yeah. Sir?
Can I ask what is the significance of the orange carrot?
Yeah, no problem. Yes, so you'll find that monks, they wear orange. And there's 2 meanings. So the first one is that it represents celibacy. So we're trying to keep our life simple, not to get entangled too much, so we can focus more on spiritual life. Like that. And the second one is my favorite. So the color of God's feet is like a saffron color. You know how you look at the sunset and it's like kind of like purplish orange kind of thing? So that's the color of God's feet. So we always want to be a humble servant of God. So we remember His feet. He's very beautiful. So every time you see that sunset, you can think of that.
Why did you choose to become a monk?
why did I choose to become a monk? That's an interesting question. Yeah, why didn't I become a hot shot?
Or how did you come across it?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so why didn't I become a hotshot designer? I wanted to be. If you met me like 18 years ago, I had like long dreadlocks and a beard, yeah, and I was like trying to be a DJ at the same time, working in a bar. I was flipping the bottles and everything. Yeah, so after, when I was in my final semester, I ran into this philosophy. And I read the books, and usually you find like a good philosophy, but the people who practice it, they're like dodgy, you know? So I met the people, I went to their center, and I was like, I heard the chanting, and I heard them speak, and I saw they were very sincere. So I was like, okay, let me try, because it's cool. It's not like just a belief system. It was like, it's something you apply in your experience. And you know, oh, this is God in my life. Okay, let me go further into it. So, and they never said, oh, now you're stuck with it. This is who you are. You know, the point was like, you have to become self-realized. So if you find a better process and you have a better experience, then you should do that. So I feel like I'm still doing the process after like 17 years. Yeah. So, so I remember seeing these monks at the center. I was thinking, no way, I'll never do that. There's no way I'll be like them, you know. I'm not cut out for that. But when I finished my degree and I wanted to be more spiritual, I thought, I was only 20 at the time, so I still had time on my hands. So let me do like a couple of years like of monk training, living in an ashram, like waking up early and doing like voluntary service and meditation and learning philosophy. So let me do like 2 years of that, and it went so quick, and I wanted to learn more, so I did one more year. That went quick, so I did another year, and it's in the books. What I found was that even if you wanted to be a spiritual family man, you know, someone who's in that world, but spiritual example, you still need to do like the full-on monk training with the orange and stronger celibacy. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it for a couple of years. So after the 4th year, I sort of took these vows. I took further vows, and I just started traveling. I found myself in Poland, and it's just been traveling for the last 12 years as a monk. And when I was 5 years of doing it, I was like, man, these 5 years were the best times of my whole life. Why don't I just keep going? I'm living a life beyond my dreams. I never thought this was possible. So I'm just sort of riding that wave now, and I'm still going that way. So that's kind of my experience. Everyone's experience is different. That's mine particularly. Is that okay? All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for your attention. You can enjoy your meal. I see it's just sitting there.